Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
So we're looking at Peter Flaherty. This is the chairman of the NLPC, and he's under arrest. Let me share this with you guys. This is just yesterday. Listen to this. This is really starting to hit the news everywhere.
We know how much Bill Gates cares about children. He met and traveled with Jeffrey Epstein many times after Epstein's convicted sex crimes. The Gates Foundation had a huge influence over the COVID response fiasco. The Gates Foundation may be the largest single donor to the dark money machine known as Arabella Associates. It funds causes like defunding the police, making American cities unlivable. Money goes also to groups conducting threats.
So, here he is. He's just connecting Warren Buffett to Bill Gates to Jeffrey Epstein in front of all these people who are obviously in the know. And they are flabbergasted, to say the least. Flabbergasted. And, this is just a major buzz right now all over Twitter here. He gets immediately arrested and taken away, but, again, this is Pluto. This is everything going on with the big unveiling of the energies of this time. This is coming out, and they can't stop it.
This is that huge transformation they have been talking about with Pluto in Aquarius. And we knew that there would be some huge things going on. And this is so undeniable. This guy, I'm not sure. It feels like, just reading into the energy, it feels like he was, it looks like, okay, great, finally someone's saying something, but I still feel he was pushed into doing this. But still, it was still done. It needed to be done. He did it, and now I'm kind of worried about his welfare now.
Yeah, absolutely. Because, this machinery that's in place has been in place for a very long time. Hundreds, if not thousands of years. This is the power structure on the planet in these times. It's deeply entrenched in all different levels of society. And there's a lot of people on its payroll, so to speak. Here you have Chelsea Clinton announcing a big catch-up initiative, largest childhood ouchie effort ever. And she says we need to get the public sector to hopefully stop doing things like stripping away public health emergency powers, etc., etc. Yeah, again, it's all about the science. But people have started to really look into the science more without blindly trusting. And, this is going to become just an incredible avalanche that the power structure is not going to be able to stop. Here you see first wild koalas have been caught and given an ouchie against chlamydia. And what's happening? Well, they're becoming so sick they can't climb trees to get food or escape predators. Females have become infertile. Imagine that. Imagine that. Samuel Phillips, a microbiologist at the University of Sunshine Coast who helped develop the ouchie, is just stating what's going on. And I shared with you, Evolutionary, again, had a video removed, and the title of that video was, what comes next? And we told you what came next, and we've seen what came next after, the plague upon the land. Then here is the cure, and what's going to happen next? Well, we've said it all along. Many people understood all along what was going on. As you see this little picture, you see Rishi and Zelensky. Britain prepares to send long-range missiles to Ukraine. Long range. Yeah, ones that could hit deep into Russian territory. Everything you could possibly do to give, the bear its excuse for when the bear swats out. Again, every single line in the sand gets crossed because they need this. They need this. Why do they need it? Because of what we just saw. As more people wake up, this is always, they have a couple options. And this is one. The other thing is something that is very, very scary. And it's very, very EBO period dot hyphen la 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 like, if you get what we mean. I know you guys get it. When you look at these actors, this is what they are. They're actors. It's just amazing. There's so many actors in this world. Yeah, all these WEF young leaders, they're all totally connected, and the public's not going to forget. But so they might think that they are above the law. They might think that nobody's ever going to catch up with us. Don't worry. We got protection of the highest sort is in their mind. They're all expendable when it comes to the way they're truly viewed by the real powers that be. There's no humans on the planet that the real power structure really cares about. Not at all. Not at all. No, the power structure is above caring for humanity. Don't we need beings guiding the planet that care about humanity, that care about koala bears, that care about Mother Nature, that care about living on the planet? Again, it's an avalanche. Every single one of these people should realize, that their names are out there. People know, and there's a lot of connections. They've basically been living very, very high on the hog, so to speak. But we all know hogs are often used in barbecues. There's a hog roast. I think they do that somewhere in the South. But, again, I wouldn't trust any of that barbecue if I was you. Yeah, again, flashing little devil horns, we get it. Yes, you should win Oscars for your performances. They've been fairly good for, politicians, which are, again, the actors that don't make it in Hollywood. And here we have Ursula picking up exactly where she left off as German Minister of Defense and why she fled Germany. Consultant affair, incorrect procurement, nepotism. It goes on and on and on. Again, being sued. You can't hide this stuff forever. You can't hide it forever. The people are waking up. Tank seen moving to the area around the Gaza Strip. There was a military operation which was recently announced, and it apparently is starting to happen over in Israel. And again, we pray for all those poor people caught in the middle of all this chaos, because this is what happens. The average person's just caught in the middle. I don't believe that most U.S. citizens really have anything against the average person in any other country, Russia, China. Here we see Pakistan. We had the arrest of Imran Khan, and we've seen protests in recent times in Pakistan. They're up in the ante there. It's just, I think humanity is getting too fed up. But then again, I think that they understand this. The real controllers understand this. And in fact, they're absolutely counting on it.
Well, this is such a huge apocalyptic time, and it's going to get more and more intense. There's going to be some things that we see to turn this country. I feel it'll be recognizable, but there's going to be a lot of jaw-dropping things that go on that we have been seeing, and these are going to continue to increase for some time because they're at the end of the rope where they can continue to play the game and create the illusion that we have choices, all along. It's just been one big, huge illusion. And as long as these beings that are controlling, as long as they do as they're told, they'll be able to stay in that position. And that's kind of the problem that we have. If anybody breaks ranks, they're going to take them out, and at what point do we realize, how are we going to regain our freedom? And I think this is where we have to deal with these things on a different dimension.
Yeah, that was basically a military checkpoint, army headquarters that they were entering, and as you see here, burning. As this old man says, I used to love Pakistan's army. This is a warning. Well, it's not just there, and then we can hear. You could hear the massive gunfire, and the reports are that they're actually firing on citizens. Again, it's really truly to get to the point where we're actually going to have a change. It's when the military and the police forces understand that they're just really doing the exact opposite of what they signed up for. As you see, all hell breaks loose in nuclear-armed Pakistan. Actually, Pakistan is one of the most powerful militaries in the world. It's actually ranked 7th in the entire globe out of 145 countries, and it is nuclear-armed. So this is a big one. Pakistan has had a very strong alliance with China. As you see, this was just recent. China seeks new fields of cooperation with the Pakistan military. Of course, this is part of the in-playing behind the scenes, because again, as we've said, the true power brokers, they're like bandits, they're like pirates, they're brigands, they're obviously so corrupt in so many different ways, and infighting is just part of it's who they are. They will absolutely nudge the other one in front of the oncoming train while they're waving to the crowd. This is who they are. I mean, again, we've also given the example of they are like the mafia. The mafia has been known to take out their own. Absolutely, the mob will take out their own. The cartels are always in battles with other cartels. Yet they're under a certain power structure. But this is, again, the leadership of the planet. Italy's Meloni to pull the trigger on Belt and Road exit in a major blow to China. So Italy is going to pull out of the Belt and Road deal here. This is estimated at $900 billion in infrastructure projects globally for the Belt and Road Initiative. That's almost $1 trillion. This is all about paving the road for CCP to lead the way in the NWO to come. What has been prophesized is that Italy and France will both be burning in the war that's about to start in earnest. Because again, this WW3, unless we can get the militaries quick enough to realize, hey, why are you pointing at each other? Humans are being used to basically take out humans and subject other humans to slavery. This is the bigger picture that we have to get the power structure to realize. They always want us taking out each other. They always want nonstop wars. Besides the profits, yes, the companies love the profits and care little about anything else. But ultimately, that just serves the greater purpose of keeping humanity as a slave race. Portugal has become the first EU country to purchase made-in-China metro trains with an order for 18 low-consumption, high-tech smart trains worth over $50 million. Drop in the bucket in the big scheme of things, but again, it's just seeing who's on board, who is perhaps bucking trends a little bit. Again, a little dissent goes a long way into convincing people. That's part of this plan, too. In the U.S. state of Florida, Chinese are now prohibited from buying farmland. I wonder if they've shut down that monkey farm that they were going to do some biological experiments on, like 100 acres there north of Tampa. I wonder if that's operational. The numbers, there's always sending messages to others that are in the know in the power structure. Number of internally displaced in Sudan rises to more than 700,000. Well, that's the same number we saw over here. Texas deploys tactical border force as 700,000 illegal immigrants, or 700,000, 700,000, 7 is a divine number, right? So, of course, they like to play like they're divinity, but they're absolutely the opposite. Just look. I mean, the numbers are everywhere, skull and bones. Why do they have 322? We pointed this out probably 24 times, maybe 36 times, maybe more than that. I don't know, but we'll keep pointing it out. Go to Colossians 3:22, because again, what book do they put their hand on? Oh, and some will say, well, Obama never touched it. It doesn't matter. Again, it really doesn't matter. You slaves must always obey your earthly masters, not only trying to please them when they're watching you, but at all times obey them willingly because of your love for the Lord and because you want to please them. Yes, and there's a lot of different translations, but in general, earthly masters. In other words, obey, if you want to use the term, obey the deep state. If that's the term that turns you on, then obey the deep state. Obey the cabal. Obey the Illuminati. Obey, the controllers. Genesis 3:22, by the way. And the Lord God, or the mighty ones, said, this man has now become like one of us. Man has become like one of us. In other words, we're not like man, but man has become like one of us, knowing good and evil. He must not be allowed to reach out his hand, take also from the tree of life and eat and live forever. This is another, when you realize that anything that's in the Bible is coming from older sources, mostly the Sumerian texts, but other sources as well, then you start to see the clear picture, because what do the Sumerian texts say? It says that man was created as a slave for beings that are the mighty ones that come from elsewhere, come from Nibiru. Absolutely. This would explain earthly, heavenly, earthly masters and non-earthly masters. Pretty clear. I mean, it's pretty clear. Deuteronomy 3:22. Ye shall not fear them, and again, if you're under the protection of the mighty ones, they will fight for you. This is why that those young WEFers seem to be fearless, although they've shown some signs of fear, because they know that the ultimate power protection is not human. It's, in fact, extraterrestrial. And it's the ones that they've been told really rule the planet. They understand at the top levels the power structure. They understand that they're only holding place for the quote-unquote mighty ones, the powerful ones, that has been all just translated into LORD in order to, kind of muddle the picture there. So Walter Cronkite, who obviously knew a lot, as he was always covering the news and inside the mix himself. But sometimes you do get people on their deathbed. They'll make a real statement, or even if they're not on their deathbed. War itself is, of course, a form of madness. It's hardly a civilized pursuit. It's amazing how we spend so much time inventing devices to kill each other and so little time working on how to achieve peace. Because peace is not the objective. And when you understand the bigger picture, it's enough to make you want to hide.
Definitely. Right now we're in a place where we are starting to really remember who we are. We're starting to ask questions. We're starting to ask galactic questions. Who are we? What are we made of? People are seeing every day now we have certain abilities. Everybody's abilities are a little different. But we come from a very interesting and curious lineage, each and every one of us. And when it comes to evolution, you can detour it. You can suppress it, but you cannot stop evolution. And when a blueprint is kind of thrown off its course, it always finds a way to snap back. So right now we are all definitely on our way back to figuring out who we are, what we are made of, and remembering a time when things were not like this. So once it comes into full view, and it's no longer blurred and we can see clearly, it's over. I mean, there is so many of us compared to them. We just have to remember who you are.
Absolutely. And just remember, the person that might be on the quote unquote opposing side is just another poor soul that has believed a lie. So keep that in mind and at heart, and try to look always through a compassionate lens. As always, guys, thanks for your support on Ko-Fi and Patreon. Much love, God bless, and namaste.
Namaste.